Hey folks, Adam McIntosh here. If you don't realize already, I'm not in my usual spot. That's because currently I'm in Beijing, China. I'm recording this video on February the 6th. I will have to wait to upload it until I get back into Helsinki. So you're going to see this a lot later, but I wanted to record this video while I'm here and while we're in the midst of this coronavirus outbreak situation. So before I get started, before I start telling my own experience, I know that there has been a number of deaths and a lot of people who are affected a lot more heavily than I in this situation. And obviously my heart goes out to those people. It's just I can only talk about my own situation at this point and my own experience. So yeah, and then obviously there's a lot of people working really hard to keep everybody safe and work on a vaccine and those kind of things. And, you know, there's people working in hospitals and all this kind of things who have a far harder job than I do, I'm on holiday. So my heart goes out to those people as well. And thanks for, literally keeping me safe because I'm here in the middle of it, along with a lot of other people. So yeah, that being said, basically quick backstory, I arrived a couple of weeks ago now, day before Chinese New Year's Eve, to visit my brother and his girlfriend who I had not met yet. And I arrived in Beijing. We flew then to Xi'an, which is where my brother's girlfriend's family is. And then we had like really nice celebrations there. I don't really know what the traditional Chinese New Year is usually like, but from what I understand, most people travel to their family homes. And so we did that. Beautiful food, everything like that. Basically the vibe was fine. Like people were out on the street. It was a little bit quiet, of course, because it's New Year's Eve. And, you know, there was some stores closed and things like that, but that was just for the holiday. And I might be wrong because I wasn't here earlier, but it felt like everything was as usual. And that evening, basically they canceled all of the celebrations, the light shows, the fireworks, all those kind of things. Basically just sent out a public notice to say that they didn't want groups of people gathering. So that's kind of where I felt like things changed quite a lot. That's where, to the situation where it is now, the vibe changed quite a lot, which I'll get into a little bit in a second. Also, quick note, sorry if this video is like very all over the place, but I'm kind of just riffing off the top of my head here. And like I say, I'm right in the middle of it now, so I don't really have hindsight on this whole situation, which I will make another video once I'm back in Finland, recover the whole thing. And also I'm going to be here now in Beijing another month. So I do have more time to go through this and figure out what is happening. I have no idea. Obviously, what is happening at the moment, I guess not a lot of people do. So yeah, we were in Xi'an, and were aware that they were shutting down provinces. So stopping travel between the provinces to obviously keep some of the contamination from spreading. And we wanted to get back to Beijing. Obviously, that's where my brother and his girlfriend's home is. And that was, you know, the original plan was to spend a big chunk of time there. So we ended up leaving there early to come back to Beijing because we didn't want to get sort of stuck outside of Beijing. And so here we are. And then now I will go over a little bit of the vibe and how everything is here. Which is basically, if you can imagine a city of 22 million basically being a ghost town, that's kind of what it is. It's a really, really strange feeling. And that's due to a number of things. One is that you are encouraged to stay indoors. Two, I think if I understood right, it's actually illegal to be open for most places. So almost everything's closed. I think there are supermarkets and pharmacies are open. I don't know if that's by law or by choice or whatever, but obviously people need to eat, and pharmacies, you know, to keep people well and protected. A large reason why the pharmacies were opened was to get masks like these. I'm sure you've all seen them. these masks are designed to, obviously, if you're ill, then you don't spread the virus, and also it's a huge reduction in catching the virus should you be around people who have it. So large problem that we have now is that these masks are incredibly hard to find, and if you find them, they're very, very expensive. But there's just a shortage. You have, over 1 billion people in this country, and everybody is buying up masks, and there's just not enough production, I guess. So yeah, they're being hard to find. We're making use of the ones that we have at the moment. And now, so outside is basically, like I said, it's like a ghost town. It's so weird to be around this huge city. There's people here. I mean, like, there's a gigantic amount of buildings, and I've been here before, so I know what the streets are usually like, and I know how the people usually are. It's a very friendly place. People are very nice, and people are very curious of you and things like that. A lot of people would gather around you and, try to ask you where you're from or ask to take photos of you and things like that. Nothing of that in this time around. I think people are just very, and understandably, skeptical, and I just notice how far people are sort of staying away from each other and those kind of things. So the vibe is very different. Like I say, very understandable, and that's a smart thing. So outside there, mostly you only see security. There's a lot of security around. Obviously, the government sends up people, police, security, and the army. And there also seems to be a lot of volunteers, which is really cool. Just what they're doing usually is sitting at the front of their communities, and they're taking temperatures. They have these sort of temperature things that they place on your forehead, and that reads your temperature. And maybe they ask you a couple of questions, like where you've been in the past couple of weeks. Obviously, the major outbreak seems to have stemmed from Wuhan. So yeah, that's a big question of whether you've been to Wuhan or not. Or in contact with people who were. So you're getting those questions if you're going outside, bumping into security, or even in your own building. We have security downstairs who might ask some questions. They are spraying a lot of stuff with disinfectant. So if you go anywhere, like a mall or maybe even a supermarket or something like that, even in the foyer or in our own building, there's disinfectant being sprayed. Like I say, you're encouraged to wear masks, you're encouraged to stay indoors. And the other people that you see are delivery drivers. Everybody's obviously getting things delivered to their homes, so just ordering food online, trying to order medicine and masks and things online. From what I've seen now is the security actually stopping delivery drivers from going into the apartment buildings or the communities. And they're leaving the food or whatever, the post and everything like that, to the security at the opening of the community or the downstairs of the building. And then the security are calling the house so that they can come down and pick it up. So they're even stopping delivery drivers from spreading it around. So from what I've seen and what I've seen on the news and what I've read, which is very little actually, I'm trying to not get overly paranoid. I'm just trying to stay informed just enough, but also not freak myself out either. There's not much I can do about it really, I'll stay safe. I'll try to keep others safe by wearing masks and gloves and things like that. But so what I've seen is that China is handling this very, very well. And just things like that, having that foresight to check people's temperatures and stop delivery drivers from entering buildings because they're entering other buildings as well all day. Those kind of things are I don't know, seems like a very, very smart thing to do and a very smart way of handling things. Who knows how this would have been if it broke out in another country, which was less equipped or less experienced with this kind of thing. So yeah, let's hope the peak reaches very soon, especially, or most importantly, that there's a vaccine. I don't know how else to really put it. It's really hard to explain. It's this. I was saying to someone the other day, it's there's this invisible threat, which is very strange. At least I've never experienced that before. I was sort of saying if it's a wildfire or if it's a guy with a knife, where the danger is. It's pretty obvious. it's the air essentially, or, you know, like the door handle you touch, or, you know, we still have to eat and do all those things. So it's like, is it going to be on the food that I'm touching? Is it like, you know, the chair that I'm sitting on or whatever? And I'm not even really a germaphobe, and you're still starting to think about those things, and it does sort of weird things to your head. Like, you know, how many times in a day do you like sneeze or cough or sniff, or just maybe think like, oh, my throat's a little dry or a little itchy, or I got a little bit of a headache? Like, those are all very normal things. Now they've become this sort of paranoia of like, am I getting sick? Am I getting sick? You know, if I get sick, there's not much I can do about it apart from go to the hospital after that. But I'm with my brother and his girlfriend in their home. You know, I don't want to bring it back here, and I'm sure they're thinking the same. So yeah, it's very strange. And also, like, those things are very normal in this country too, for people to, like, you know, to cough and to spit and all those kind of things out in public it's normal. It's part of the culture, or just accepted by the culture. When I was here last time, I don't think twice about it. I think it's kind of funny, and then that's about it, because it's, you know, it's so different to what we do where I'm from. But yeah, and then now it's like, if somebody coughs next to you, you're kind of freaking out a little bit. But yeah, so I mean, the vibe has just changed, and like I say, the threat is very non-obvious in the sense that you can't see it, but it's playing a very big part on the vibe and on how things are here, obviously. I don't know, I just rambled so much there that I don't really know if I covered everything, but I hope I did. If I didn't, I'm gonna recap all of this and this whole trip when I get back to Finland, when I have a little perspective. I also have some nicer videos and some more probably visually interesting videos of China, my trip in China, coming up. So those will be there. I did get the chance to photograph a bunch just in the day before things seemed to really get locked down. So I have those images, obviously. Yeah, those will come. Right now I want to do this video and yeah, while I'm in it, explain a few things. The other big thing was that I was due to travel back to Finland, I think on the 14th of February. Like I said, today is the 6th. So I would have had roughly another week here. They cancelled those flights, and they cancelled them all the way to the end of the month, I believe. And the first couple of flights were like booked. So I will be traveling back now on March the 4th, I think, by memory. So yeah, extended stay. No real complaints. I'm with my brother and his girlfriend. They've been incredibly hospitable to me, letting me in their home, giving me a spare room, and giving me food and everything else like that, and cooking and all those things. So I'm very fortunate in that sense that, that I'm in a good place. And my responsibilities back in Helsinki aren't too crazy. I don't have a family or anything like that yet. So yeah, I think that's about it on that front. I want to talk quickly about what I'm trying to do here in this situation. So if you don't know already, if this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, usually I take a lot of street photography. It's one of my favorite things to do. That's the second part of what I wanted to be in China for. First was visiting family. Second was to take photos. It's a great place to take photos. People here, like I say, usually very lovely, very like welcoming and warm. So yeah, it's just a great place to take photos. People don't really seem to get annoyed as much, and there's very beautiful culture and people here. So, but now no one's out on the street. So I'm not doing a lot of that. But I am trying to capture what is going on at the moment. That's very difficult for me. I'm not a documentary photographer. And it's the first time I've really thought about documenting something. And then, like I say, it's a very non-obvious thing to try to document. So I'm trying my best, and I will share that work with you. I think I'll share it later. I still need to look at it. I still need to collect more of that work to piece together whether there really is something there, because like I say, there's a lot of empty streets, and that is very interesting if you understand Beijing. I mean, I think everybody has an idea that China is very populated, very densely populated often. So if you see an empty street in Beijing, you probably inherently already know that it's a little bit strange. But on the individual photo, it is just an empty street. It's not that interesting, at least to me. So I need a little bit more perspective, and maybe the opinion of some of my good friends to see whether there is something of a photo story there. And then also I have to go through on how I want to display that as well, and put it all together so that people can view it and understand. Hopefully, if I do my job right, then to portray that, like, people can understand the vibe a little bit. Sorry, I'm struggling with my words here a little bit. It's early, and I don't really know what I'm trying to convey just yet. Like I say, you're in the middle of it, so I don't have perspective yet. But that's what I'm trying to do. I'm still trying to cover that. I'm trying to look at different angles. I think I found a semi-interesting one. And that's really just working as far as like creatively goes, working with what I have, and then also hopefully doing some sort of service to, I don't know, people who have to or don't have to go through this situation. Morally, I don't know what that job is yet. All I can really do is do the work and try to capture something. And yeah, try to capture something. So at the moment, I'm just photographing a lot, and I will look at the work once it's all together. I think I've rambled on that enough. Sorry, that was a little bit of a struggle even for me. I don't know what that's going to be like to watch. But anyhow, I think this is getting a little bit long. I'll sign out here. Yeah, I'm well and healthy, thankfully. So is my family. I hope this ends soon. Other videos coming, more work coming. You can follow me on Instagram. You'll see those. They'll happen. I have other exciting ideas to, put that work out. But for now, I don't want to plug all that stuff in this video. So wait for those videos to come. They will come. And I'll catch up on everything else there on a more like positive note, because this is still a beautiful country with great people. So I want to talk about that too, not just this. You stay safe. I will see you next time. Peace.